I'm WhoDey, and I've got Steelbaker here on this podcast as well.
How's it
So
going?
today we're going to be covering offensive linemen in this class. Just briefly before we start, holy moly, this is some offensive lineman class. It is like 4 rounds deep. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's got to be the best, at least the last 15 years. Like, it's just a crazy
Yeah.
depth.
Maybe it's because of all the opt-outs. It's like it feels like there's at least 2 draft classes worth of offensive linemen in it.
For sure. I mean, last year there's really like 4 big
Yeah,
guys, which those guys are probably definitely near the top of this class. But like
yeah,
after that, there was like 2 or 3 guys who even played last year. And you could see easily 10, 12 of these guys playing.
yeah. Any of the guys like Robert Hunt last year probably struggled to even get into the early second round this year. I mean, we've
Definitely.
got a lot of positions that are deep at receiver and linebacker, which we will all be covering. But
Yep.
anyways, yeah, it's a really exciting lineman class. Unlike the linebacker side, there are multiple top level tackles. There's a lot to be excited about if you're looking for offensive linemen this year. I
Yes.
mean,
So I guess I'll kick us off with the Golden Goose here. Penei Sewell out of
absolutely.
Oregon. 6'5", 331, 33 and a quarter inch arms. He's a true junior. And, I mean, what's not to say? He is just a beast. A total mauler in the run game. Amazing balance in the pass game. It almost looks like he's not moving because he's just so balanced. His top doesn't even move at all when he's going back. The biggest con, I would say, against him, there's been some work ethic stuff that I don't know if I buy into. But his technique, he uses the hug technique, so he holds on the outside, and that's not very common at the next level. I'd worry about like Khalil Mack types, just bull rushing him into the quarterback where he can't just outmuscle him. But that's the only real minor technique issue.
I mean, for sure, his skill set
So
is
that's
very unique, and that's what makes him special. I'd have to say, the hype has been crazy for him. I can't blame it. I mean, he's
yeah,
just freaky athlete. It's crazy at his position.
yeah. It's one of those things that's just you can't teach it. His RAS score, so relative athletic score, is an 8.98. He's elite in size, strength, and speed. His agility was a little bit lower, but he's so balanced that he offsets that.
Yeah, he's without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if there weren't so many quarterbacks in this class, without a shadow of a doubt, he's got to be top number 1 pick or something.
Oh,
It's
for
just
sure. Top 3 at least, yeah. But he's looking at maybe 5 at his, for the Bengals, his landing spot, or 6 for Miami is as low as he'll go.
yeah, no, it's definitely not getting past the top 5 or 6 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with him, what's interesting is how he kind of stacks up against like last year's class again. It was
Yeah.
a class, and on paper the guy's ahead, and that's just crazy to me how much depth we've had at the tackle spot for the last 2 years.
Yep. Do you want to talk about Darisaw?
Absolutely, I do. I have been a huge fan for Darisaw. His film is just fantastic. This guy just doesn't lose. He's the definition of a brick wall out there. Guy is just very poised. He has a strong edge to him. His arms are actually very long. He barely gets beat. I mean, he is pretty good on pass protection. There are concerns. Obviously, with the Slaters and Sewells, there are more freakier athletes, but I think he's definitely not too far away from them, just in a sheer athletic point. He's probably like 1 or 2 steps behind, but I mean, he's just so well rounded. He's definitely somebody I think is going to be more. His floor has to be probably the best out of everybody, without a doubt. His
I would
uh,
agree.
his he has had some concerns about his run game, especially in the second level. He's kind of a bit aloof, and that could probably still be taught out of him. I think if he's going to a really good offensive line team, I mean, he would be just fantastic. Frankly, I can't see the Chargers passing on him, but he would be if he's there on the board after 13, you have to take him. I mean, I
For sure.
legitimately believe if the Panthers have done their homework, they take a look at this guy and they may even consider him at 8. He is that well rounded. I do see the arguments as to why he's potentially the number 2 tackle in this class. I mean, all the film I've seen of him, the guy just does not get beat. He makes it look effortless.
Definitely. Effortless athlete was my big thing. Also, the 34.25-inch arms, that is the most of any top 2 round projected tackle. There are a couple guys
I
later that are
forgot
more
his
projects
measurements.
that
My
have
bad.
up there. You have his other measurements, just the arms specifically I have
Yep.
his.
Yep.
And then also, I see a lot of Mike McGlinchey in him for San
Yep. Mike
Francisco.
McGlinchey,
Top
Dwayne
10
Brown
pick a
of
few
the
years
comps I
ago.
hear a lot.
Yeah. But all right, now moving on. I got Rashawn Slater. So
Here we go.
I had a little fun with his positives. His number 1 positive, he was able to block Chase Young in 2019 when nobody blocked Chase Young in 2019. And he is a kneecap biter. I see him going to the Detroit Lions and just being the dude. Dan Campbell, kneecap biter, that's him right there. And then my con for him is that he might be a Hall of Fame guard instead of a tackle.
Damn.
That's the con I would have for him. He's so physical, and I question if he has necessarily the technique to play left tackle, or I think he's better. But at guard, I mean, he'll do everything, and he'll be one of the best pass blockers at guard of all time. He's a great anchor.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Darisaw too, is he's a big anchor. But I mean, if you're picking Sewell or Slater, you are going to be getting guys who are definitely just freaks in nature, at least on the high end of the class with Slater and Sewell. I mean, you just can't go wrong if you're picking any
Slater's
of the top
a little
3
bit
guys.
light. He's 305. He's a little bit light.
Yeah.
6'4", 305. But I mean, just built like a tank. So maybe he'll put on about 10 pounds in the NFL weight room, but he'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, before we move on to the latter parts of this tackle class, definitely this is the first tier of prospects at the tackle spot. Darisaw, Slater, and Sewell obviously have to be their own.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit with my next one, but
Oh,
I'll let
yeah?
you get to yours first.
I figure you see your next one. I would like to actually. I'm going to talk about Cosme. Since he's probably the highest rated guy I have after this. He is a freaking tank. He's 6'7", 314. He is just a freaking ginormous man, and he's got long arms as well. I mean, he's just the whole package, just a complete mauler. I mean, I remember watching one play. We had like a blitzy linebacker, and he was just going 100 miles per hour. Just it's like watching a fly run into a car windshield. Like he's just a monster, but man, he is crazy. He definitely will be a quarterback's wet dream in the pass protection, but the only area I think is a humongous concern is the run game. Simply because of the foot speed. I do worry what's his role there, especially, if there's a situation where he has to get to the next level. But I mean, his 40 dash was not bad if you look on his RAS
I have
score.
him down at 4. Wait, let me look again. So it's a 4.87. That actually puts him as the highest tackle in this class for the 40. But the 40 is more about technique. So his play speed, I don't think relates to that quite as much. But it's still, I mean, he showed he has the speed. He just probably needs to put it together a little more. I mean, it kind of keeps him out of that top tier, I'd say.
Yeah.
Which this is a crazy tackle class. He's a top 10 pick in other classes. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely if he's there at any point from 16 to 22, and 22 is pushing it. I mean, I legitimately see him going to the Raiders at 17 at the worst.
In real life, I could see Indy being the spot for him.
Oh, that's true.
But Indy traded for a more established tackle, so. But I could even see the Chargers take him just because he's such a solid pass protector, and they had none last year. And you have Bulaga on the other side, so you could see talking yourself into Cosme.
I think you would have to give a player comp. My comp for him is just a quarterback's wet dream.
That's awesome.
It's great.
All right.
I mean, Yeah.
So
Speaking of wet dreams, here's your fucking guy.
yeah, my favorite player in this class, Tevin Jenkins. He
I
is just a mean person. The play that exemplifies who he is well, the entire Texas game against Osai. Poor Osai, man. He probably isn't a first round pick solely because he got pancaked like 20 times in that game. But there was one play where he tries to make an inside move and Jenkins pancakes him into the defensive tackle and pancakes both of them. That's the play
my
that exemplifies Tevin Jenkins for me. He takes the idea of pass rush as an insult. Brett Coleman said that, and I completely agree. And his comp for him is also something I find very funny. It's Brian Balaga with rabies, just pissed off, going at it. So that's Tevin Jenkins to me. I think he also has the best pass blocking technique in the class, but, and this is the reason why I don't think he's OT 2, is because he's a right tackle. I don't think you replicate that same success at left because of the way he explodes out to that first step. I don't know if that first step translates to left, and if it doesn't, he's not overly quick to keep up with it. So
Right.
I'd keep him at right, and that kind of keeps him down in that 12 to 20 range. But anybody after, I mean, even the Giants at 11, but anybody after the Eagles, I can see taking him and being a home run pick.
Oh yeah, for sure. I honestly think oh wait, who has 15 in real life? Who has 15?
The Patriots do.
Oh,
Patriots have him in real
Patriots.
life.
Oh,
So
okay, well that
probably
doesn't
not
make
them because
sense.
they just got Trent
Yeah, but I
Williams.
know
But like
you
can see
you
it.
at 15 would probably take him.
Oh, for sure. If I got Moten, so that's the wrench in this. Do I want to try
Right.
to translate? And that was why I got 15 was him. But
Yeah,
then
I mean,
I don't even know if he's gonna be there. So that's the issue. I
yeah,
have
I
his
mean, there's
RAV
a good
score too.
chance. Yeah.
He is the most impressive RAV score of these top guys, 9.74. Elite speed and explosiveness and strength. The only other
Yeah.
things are just good. But like the
Yeah.
speed surprised me a little bit. I expected him to be more in the good range for speed. So putting up elite speed numbers was kind of a difference maker.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was just gonna mention his composite speed grades elite. That's just absurd.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, man. Yeah, even with Cosme as well, he was in the elite. So I think Cosme and Tevin Jenkins, I would say they're definitely the guys potentially the sleeper picks at tackle.
Yeah, if you want a left, that's Cosme. If you want a right, it's Tevin Jenkins. And it's
Tevin
just no.
Jenkins by far and away. Just
So we got your next up here, I believe.
oh yeah, I'll do Vera Tucker first.
Okay.
Vera Tucker, I like his versatility. I do have some concerns about him, but his just natural feet, like just during a play, is I think definitely something any offensive line coach would love. Him in the run game, I mean, with that kind of speed, would be absolutely awesome. I've seen a lot of plays though in the run game that at the second level, I really don't like. There's this weird indecisiveness that sometimes translates to when he's on the line of scrimmage blocking there, but like there'll be two guys, in the midst of a running play, and he doesn't know who to get, so he proceeds to get nobody, and
Yeah,
that's
and
frustrating to watch.
combining that with his arms only being
Uh,
32 and an eighth, I have him at guard because at guard you
yeah,
can kind of go tell him to go hit that guy, and I think when
yeah,
he's more focused, he'll be a lot stronger. But he has tactical flexibility, which keeps him
yeah,
around that first round grade for me.
yeah. I think with the combo side of things, he can probably make up a bit for his arms, but I mean, his hand play's not terrible. But I think at the next level, like if he's running into an Aaron Donald, he could be in trouble.
Yeah, I
I mean, if
agree.
anybody runs into
He's
him,
gonna
but
need to put on some weight for those
yeah,
arms, I would say, especially
yeah,
the inside.
yeah,
But I think he
definitely
can
needs
do
to
it.
bulk up for it. I mean, that's the concern I have when I think about his draft spot is because at least in year one, if he's going to a division like the NFC West, that he is burnt toast.
I mean, yeah, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, you're not.
J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa, D Ford, like that's just
Yeah, you're
not even
gonna
fair.
have a rough time around there with those
Yeah,
guys. But I mean,
I would
any
still
rookie
say,
is.
yeah, I would still say he's worth like anything in the top, like the lower 20s, I think is still good value because of his versatility. I mean, you can't beat a guy who can go tackling guards so seamlessly. But I think him at tackle though is kind of a stretch if you ask me though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could see even like a team like the Bears liking the versatility because they play their guards and centers around a lot. Like
Right.
Whitehair moves in, so like I
Yeah.
could see them doing it. But they have that undrafted guy out of Notre Dame. I think they like, so they might want to go with a true tackle
Yeah,
versus the
I'm kind of
flexibility.
trying to think of what's a good landing spot for him. Like
I think the Bears
maybe
are too early, so that's the
it's
problem
too
with them.
early. Is my problem. Yeah, I mean maybe. But if he's gonna go pure guard, maybe the
I could see
Ravens.
Jacksonville. Ravens, I could
Jacksonville.
see. They did just
Yeah.
get Zeitler here and in real
Either,
life, and
yeah.
that might hurt.
Well, he can
With
move to
no
left guard in that one,
Zeitler for
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still potential. They could probably move like Bozeman back to center, and they should be good. I mean,
Oh
like
yeah,
that could
I
work.
agree.
Him with
I agree
Stanley
there.
around would probably help. That wouldn't be too bad. So maybe there's a fit. I definitely still think he's because of the versatility still worth a low first, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him come in on day two.
I wouldn't be surprised if he fell to the Bengals second round pick because they just need a lot of versatility.
Yeah,
So having somebody that can play guard spots or tackle,
I
I
like
think
what
could
you did
also
there.
be second. I know you're the Bengals, like that's like his floor. I think if he's there, the Bengals
Yeah,
run to the podium with it. Like, oh yeah,
yeah,
great, we have the
yeah.
a
For
first round
us,
talent.
I would
Yeah,
think a versatile guy like that fits in well. We've got a lot of versatile guys, but he would
yep,
definitely be I mean, at that point, anybody in the second round, like that is a lot of value to pass up
yep.
on. I would think
All
even
right,
the Jets are a threat. Oh yeah, I better let you move in.
okay. So we'll move on. I got Dylan Radunes out of North Coast State,
Yep.
6'5", but 304, 33 and a quarter inch arms. So 304, he's light. He plays light too, but he did kick ass in Mobile, and that was the biggest question mark. Small school, you never really know how those guys are going to step up, but he was a beast. I think he was fighting through an injury even, and he was playing just lights out there at the Senior Bowl. And then his movement is what you drafted for. You hope
Yeah.
you can bulk him up and get that anchor better, but he moves exceptionally well. Especially for a smaller school guy, he understands motion and space very well. So we're kind of looking at him more second round level, but I mean, I could see him going to Kansas City comfortably.
That's where, yeah, everyone. That's a good spot for him to go.
Yep. He's also super athletic. I mean, you should be with as mobile as he is, but 9.28 RAS score, elite explosiveness and agility. But his weight is 2.9 percentile. So bottom, he's
Right.
800th or something in weight since 87. So he definitely
Yeah.
needs to get 10, 15 pounds. And I think if he can get,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys could use about 10 pounds. But for
Yeah.
him, maybe, 5 to 10. So he can play stronger. But within a year, I think he's going to be a solid player, depending on where
Yeah.
he goes.
I think he'd be an interesting fit with his run blocking in Baltimore as well. Kind of a late first there. That
Yeah, if
wouldn't be
Baltimore has to
too much
move
of a
on
reach.
from Orlando Brown, I could see him
Yeah.
sliding to right.
Yeah. I think. I mean, the concern is, yeah, he's a redshirt senior, but I mean, just the talent speaks for itself. A guy who can move like that in the run game. I mean, he's got a bit of bite to him as well for a guy who's only 301.
Yeah, I think he's got that mentality. I don't think he's a developmental project either. Like,
No, yeah, he's
I think
definitely
he's
well
ready to go
coached.
technique wise. He just needs a
Yeah.
little bit of weight. So it's not like you're drafting a guy who's older who also needs to grow a lot.
That's another thing I forgot to cover is the year one. Like, how do we expect guys to do year one?
Yeah, we can circle back to that at the end if you
Yeah,
want.
we can circle back. I mean, we'll probably recap this class anyways towards the end of
Yeah,
what
we'll
we
recap
discussed.
the guys we talked about and
Yep.
kind of where we rank them. So a little bit. So you can go to
So,
your next guy.
yeah, my next guy is Jalen Mayfield. He's fallen down a bit on people's boards. I remember seeing him kind of that late first round guy. Now I'm kind of hearing he could probably slip into the early second round. I understand why. He's got great size still, and he's definitely a good run blocker, but I do have issues with his technicality on with his hands and then pass block. I mean, he's definitely going to have a tough time in year one. Depends on where he goes, but like I think he could probably get manhandled in year one. He's definitely a bit more of a on the developmental side. He is 320, but he is a really strong mauler. He's kind of like probably like what you expect Tevin Jenkins to be. He's probably like what a year away from being what Tevin Jenkins is. I would think.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have the speed that Jenkins
Yeah,
does, but I
yeah,
think
that's
like
what makes
technique and
Tevin
power
Jenkins
wise.
freaky is the athlete side of him.
But yeah, I agree. I think that the strength in the run game and I think the technique
And
could get to that level for sure in a
what
year.
sucks is his RAS score gets weighed down by because he didn't have a bench, and like I think his composite size grade goes up if he benched because I think he's a strong
Oh
guy.
yeah.
Which it sucks because his RAS score is only 4.87, and he tested for mostly everything. His composite speed grade is, I mean, that's the
Rough.
thing. Is his he can definitely he's a people mover. I do
Mm-hmm.
have questions in the second level though with his his run blocking, not run defense.
He's another guy who could go to guard. His arms are short too, 32
Yeah,
and 5'8". So it's not necessarily the end all be all, but
yeah.
at
I
right
think he's
tackle, I think he'd be
definitely a
good.
1 year, 2 year project. Whoever takes
Yep.
him.
But I think
And
he's not that far away. I think in year 2 you
but
could
here's the
expect him
issue:
to
is
be a
there are a lot
good tackle.
better year one tackles in this class. There's like
Yeah,
quite a few of
it's
them, even in the second round. So
yeah. I
I
mean, if you're talking
legitimately
second round
fear,
between Raduns and him,
yeah,
it's Raduns. I mean, if you're trying to
yeah,
get somebody ready.
yeah, and especially with the interior O lineman too. There, it's like I could see him being a mid to low mid second round pick. That could legitimately happen in real life. I think his
Especially because there's
stock
going to
is
be so many tackles off the board. It's going to be like,
yeah.
okay, so many
Well, yeah, that's
picks.
what I was gonna say. Was because in the first round, if like so many of them go, that subtracts from the amount of suitors you could have, and that's kind of where I see the disadvantage of this class. But we can get into that in the summary portion. I'll let you get your last. Oh wait, no, we've got more
Two more.
interior linemen.
Yep.
Yeah, two more
Yep.
each. Yeah, my
Interior
bad.
lineman more. Yep. So I
Yep.
have Creed Humphrey. Simply put, outside zone scheme, he is the best center to come out in a long time. He's great at he's either the swing man, outside zone. So he can reach that three tech on the right or left and hook them, and that is vital to being able to play an outside zone scheme. I have him going to the Packers for that in the first. Late first,
Ooh.
good value for a center. They decided in real life to let Lindsley go. In here, they won't, so they don't need that pick here. But in real
Yeah.
life, I don't know why they did that. But here you go. Here's another great center to run your offense for. But so great athlete. He is literally the most athletic center since '87. A 10 RAS score. He's elite in everything except for weight. He's only good in weight. So he's got everything you would look for. His anchor isn't great. So 5 pounds and a little bit of strength. Work on that anchor a little bit more. But I mean, he's got everything you look for in an outside zone center.
Do you think a first round pick's a reach, like a low first round pick?
So yes, but also no. So you're thinking about who's in the late first. You're looking for a guy who will be a contributor. I don't think there's anybody that's better at playing the center position than him by a lot in this class.
Yeah.
And I think he's better at playing center than most people are at any other position in this class. It's just the
Right.
center position isn't very valuable. But if you're the Packers in real life, you really need a center. And you
Yeah.
can, I think they have, is it Jenkins, who's their left guard? They think he can play center. But why mess with that if you don't need to? So the impact of day one makes him worth a first. I think if it's a
Right.
rebuilding team, you could see him going early second and being a better value. But
Yeah.
like I said, you can never really go wrong picking line, especially in the late first.
Yeah. Oh, I could see him going like. There's probably no way by the time he's hitting pick 38 in the second round, he's going to be on the board. No chance.
Yeah, he's definitely top
Miami
40.
Jets, like there's no way he gets past them.
Which is why, as a competitive team, you just take him because you
Yeah.
just need the fill.
Absolutely, he'd make a lot of sense for like a Ravens or Saints at 27 and 28. Or wait, no, Sorry, Saints. Didn't they draft Eric McCoy?
Yeah, do they still have Eric McCoy? In here, he wouldn't be
In
a bad pick
here,
for the Saints because
however,
they traded Eric McCoy. So I could see the
oh well,
Saints doing something like that because they kind
yeah,
of run a little bit outside zone stuff because of Kamara being good at that.
yeah,
So I could see him going to the Saints.
that'd be a good fit for them. Moving on. I forgot to do. I had one tackle. I should have done that first, but he was a second round guy, so I guess it's fair. I'll do no, I'll do Wyatt David first.
All right, we'll save the last
Wyatt
tackle for
David.
last.
Yeah, I'll save my last tackle for last since he's probably the lowest on the draft stock. Wyatt
Probably,
Davis
yeah.
out of Ohio State. He's definitely got some very good body control, and he's incredibly strong. A very good run blocker. He didn't test for Raz, but I'm pretty confident he would have done all right. He's definitely a stronger guy. Um, the big thing is his technique, though. That's the big reason I pulled him out. Is his technique really, really concerns me. He does a lot of lunging, and he's got his head low. His hand placement is a little off, and just it'll definitely be a tough year one for him. But I really do believe in year two he could be a pretty good player. He's again another people mover, and I think he'd be again somebody in the second round if you're willing to give him a year. Like if you're, I hate to label myself, but the Bengals, who can give a guy a year to really grow with a young O line, I think he'd be really good year two. It's just year one
Yeah,
is
I think
probably what's
he's.
killing his stock.
Yeah, I think he has probably the highest potential of those second round guys.
Yeah,
We're looking at. I mean, unless you consider Vera Tucker second,
yeah,
which
second
I
round
don't.
guy.
I
Yeah,
consider him first
yeah,
or second. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, he would definitely need a year. I would probably look to him more mid to late first. Kind of talking again about those competitors. Kind of
yeah,
looking to add him.
yeah.
Um, I could see him falling to the third, just because again, all
That's
of the linemen that are
that's
going. I could see
true.
him falling to the early third and having a
Yeah,
team like the Jags or Jets get a steal, or or the Bengals. But I don't know if it goes even that far because those guys need line. So it's like okay,
yeah.
third round
I
lineman
could
like
see
that.
like the Giants spending a second round pick on him in
I could
real
see it.
life,
Yeah, we're
or like
talking. They
maybe
like their.
Detroit.
Yep,
Yeah,
Detroit need to build that line if they don't go
yeah,
Slater, especially.
yeah. Maybe Carolina at 39 if they go defense in the first round.
Yeah,
I
I could
mean,
see it.
I could see it. It depends how sold you are. I personally, I think he's good enough to warrant at least a. I mean, and he's definitely worth it, just in sheer value in the mid second round for sure. I mean, if you were a team like if he somehow falls to the mid second round, like towards the latter portion, I would be shocked if he hits the third round because I think there's a lot of teams that need guards.
Yep,
Somebody will give him a reach. Somebody will reach.
yep. All right, so
Um,
my last guy,
yep,
Landon
go for it.
Dickerson, Alabama, another center,
Cartwheel
taking
boy,
cartwheel
cartwheel
boy.
boy.
Yeah, so didn't have a RAS score. He's recovering from an ACL. He's the second one, but again, he was doing cartwheels. I think he'll be fine. Very nimble guy, as you can tell, but 6'6", 330, just an absolute beast.
Wow.
I mean, I have him similarly rated to Humphrey. I have Humphrey higher because the scheme that he fits in really well is becoming more and more common, and it's a very
Right.
difficult position to find for it, so his value is higher. But I'm thinking, I mean, if you're mid-second and you run more power or inside zone, I mean, he is going to be an absolute beast for you. I mean, you could say as early as even the first pick in the second if they
Yeah.
want to get a guard outside of Norwell. I think
Oh
have him play
man,
right
that
guard,
interior O line would be
or
crazy.
because they have a good center too. But like you could play
Yeah,
him at guard because
slender.
he's just such a great. I think he's more valuable at center. But like
Yeah.
day one impact, you're getting a just absolute mauler in there.
Yep.
So
He could
you're
be a good replacement for Alex Mack in the second round for the Falcons.
I agree. Falcons second round. That's kind of where I'm looking. I don't
Yeah.
know where they're going with the outside or inside zone. They ran kind of a little bit of both in Tennessee. Arthur Smith did. So I don't know what they're going to do scheme wise. If he will be a
Yeah.
great fit. There are some other guys that are faster that may be better in an outside zone.
I don't know
But
what they did at their running back this year. I know they let Todd Gurley go, I think.
they're probably drafting a guy,
Yeah,
if I had to guess. But yeah,
probably.
I mean, he's just Pittsburgh in the first round. If they took him, I would like that better than a running back in real life. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
be mad if they took Landon Dickerson, because then it's just like, okay, we go from Pouncey, a first round pick. I think he was picked 25, so it's like, okay, we're right around the same ballpark. We'll just take our next generational center. Cool. Like that, I could be fine with that pick in real life, but that's not the best value, but that's better than what they sometimes do.
Well, I think there's potential for him to go in the first round. I think again you bring it up like the competing teams like a Kansas City if they if Humphrey's not there,
Kansas City for sure.
Yeah, Kansas City, Green Bay again in real life at least.
If Green Bay took him, I would question it just because they are very reliant on their outside zone to open their offense up. I don't know if trying to teach him to do that is the best play for that. I would try to move Jackson in. And I don't know if a guard, if Landon Dickerson at guard isn't worth a first, at center he might be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing though. At 29 is like, you're not. I mean, at 60, well, that's not true because there's a lot of depth. Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm saying at 62, maybe you wait till then for interior O line, but like,
late 60s. I mean, you have like Minor out of UW Whitewater, small school guy. I mean, I could even see Trey Hill being high on boards for a center, for a outside zone. I mean, you have guards there too. So they have. I mean, you could just try to move Jackson in the center and get a guard. Right. So I think there's options there at 60 that is probably worth them taking a wide receiver, but they don't like to do that. So.
Yeah. No, they don't like to make smart. No, they'll probably just take another quarterback.
Oh, why not?
Why not?
But okay.
Cal Trask.
You have one more guy, right? I think.
I have Alex Leatherwood. That's my last guy. I know we did the tackles first, but it's just because he's got the lowest stock. He's out of Alabama. I picked him because last year they had Jedrick Wills, and Leatherwood's an interesting guy because I think he has definitely some upside to be a good starter. I just don't know year one how that goes because his technique is not bad. He's got really good hands, probably some of the best hands I've seen. His foot technique in like a technique point of view is good. Like he doesn't like get caught up in his motions. He's very good on the movement that way, but like in terms of foot speed is a different, different
his
question.
Technique is fine, but his technique takes forever. Like just because he just doesn't have great speed.
He did do pretty well in the RAS score. Like his composite speed grade was great, and it's probably
like
on the edge of the league. Yeah, I know on the 40. That's just nuts.
Like I didn't expect him to do that. He didn't play that fast.
I think if he would have benched, he would have probably gone up more because he's a big dude. He's like 6'6", 312. And that's another issue I do have with his technique is he does tend to rely on his strength a little too much. Like I think he's strong, but I don't think he's like Tevin Jenkins level strong because he's not as much of a bully as he, is a people mover. Definitely will need some more transition help, like, moving, just interior motion. Like that's the one thing in his technique. It's not fast enough. I'm worried about him in the, in the NFL playing against guys with bigger arsenals, like in terms of pass rush moves. That's where I'm worried. I know his hands are good, but I do have concerns about his, foot technique as well, like transitioning since, there's concerns there. I've seen a few plays where like he'll get caught off the edge and he'll make up for it. But, when you take those edge rushers to the next level, if you're playing a Myles Garrett, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so, I see him as a day one, like sixth guy, which is, I mean, we're talking about third round pick here, late second. Like getting a sixth rotational guy that can step in and you only lose a little bit year one is a huge thing to have. And he can play anything but center, I think. I'm worried a little bit about his height at guard, but I think he would be serviceable at guard, but he's a starting tackle in the future.
Yeah. I think he'd be an interesting fit because here's the thing. Our first round is so filled with tackles and our early second is so filled with it too. I mean, I could legitimately see him falling into the third round, but I think he'd be great value for like a Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the late second.
I agree.
especially in our league.
Yep. Somebody
Especially in
to be
our
a
league
long-term
would be
replacement and
absolutely
cheap. Yep.
amazing.
I can
For yeah, that'd be a
because
great
they have
fit.
Villanueva
Yeah,
now.
and I think they're anyways going to have to move on for him next year cap wise. So
Yeah, it's definitely
having him
possible.
sit behind Villanueva, and year two, I anyways expect him to be a lot better. So, I mean, that would be fantastic to pair him there with that stacked O line. I mean, goodness gracious.
And I think Villanueva is actually a pretty good comp for him. Villanueva is
Yeah,
a little bit heavier, but
that's what I was gonna
he's
say.
6'7", 230 or 330, I think, something
Yeah,
like that. So I can see him being a good comp and someone who can help teach him how to play left tackle at that bigger size. And Villanueva's not fast, so
yeah,
kind of that's a good comp for him even to hopefully
yeah,
see that to replace him. So
yeah.
I think that's everybody we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
I have one more note, and that is Spencer Brown scored a
Oh boy.
10 at offensive tackle, making him the most athletic tackle since '87. So we have the most athletic center and most athletic tackle in this class. Spencer Brown's looking probably third round.
Yeah,
Could see him going fourth, just because there's so many.
yeah,
He's a small school guy, a little bit older too, so the project there is not something you like, but he is 6'8", 311.
right.
So, I mean, he's just elite across the board.
Yeah. Well, if you're a team like like Bengals, Jets, or Falcons, like why not double dip at offensive line?
For sure.
That's why I think there'll still be like guys in the third round that are third round level prospects that may not particularly fall. That's what interests me though, is like, a lot of these third and fourth round guys, I mean, they're still this offensive line class is so stacked. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of guys we still didn't even cover. That's how
Yeah,
deep this top 50 of even the offensive lineman guys is.
it's insane for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, a guy like Van Lonen from Wisconsin, because I watch
Yeah.
Wisconsin a lot.
Yeah.
I thought going into the year he was a top 10 tackle, and he's
Yeah.
20. Like he's not even really in that
Yeah.
conversation.
Wow.
It's insane. So,
We've got a ton of guys. Brady Christensen out of
mhm.
BYU as well. We didn't cover Trey Smith, but that's another guy out of Texas as well. There's just a lot of guys. I mean, if you're looking for offensive linemen in this draft, I mean, there is
Plenty to
probably
choose
too
from.
much. Probably, honestly, too much.
All right, so I'm gonna go quick, kind of for our end thing. I'm gonna just give a top 10 rankings for my tackles.
Sure.
So, Sewell, Slater, Darisaw, Jenkins, Cosme, guy we didn't talk about, but Eichenberg, and then I have
Wow.
Jalen
Yeah, this is
Mayfield.
great.
I have then Dylan Radunes, and then Walker Little. Walker Little is kind of a wild card. He hasn't played
Yeah.
in 2 years, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too. He hasn't played in a while, but
But
it
he
sounds
was
like
looking like the top tackle
yeah.
in this class 2 years ago. So I
Yeah.
think there's something still there in the second round level. That's kind of why I have him at a 10.
Yeah. Yeah, with Walker Little, I have to say that I am concerned. Like, there's a few guys I was going to mention, like, opting out really didn't help. Like, someone like
Yep.
not Landon Dickerson, sorry. Alex Leatherwood, like, just if they had played another year, I think that would have really helped some of their stocks.
I agree. I also think it's there's a couple guys in other positions that really got hurt by it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
we can talk
sure.
about those more later. But and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
interior O line of the guys we talked about, I would be Creed Humphrey 1, Vera Tucker 2, Dickerson 3, and then we talked. I mean, Jalen Mayfield would be 3, I guess, if he was a guard. So if we're talking about
Right.
him there, and then Wyatt Davis at 4. I think those are the 4 we talked about.
Yeah, the 4 we talked about. I agree. I agree with most of that. I actually think Landon Dickerson over Vera Tucker could be interesting. I don't know, because I feel
Depends
like
on how you value center.
yeah,
It'd
it
be
depends how you
center's
value
higher.
it by virtue of him at guard. That's right, him at guard
Well,
is
I was
not the
talking
same
more
thing
about
as
just in
center.
general
Oh,
at
just in
their
general.
position.
Yeah, yeah,
But I was saying just because he doesn't have as much scheme flexibility.
yeah.
That's
I think
why I
that's
put
the
him
concern
lower.
with Vera Tucker. He's definitely not a year one guy. Actually, that was what I wanted to ask. Just really quickly. out of this class of tackles and interior offensive line, probably like a few of the really good year one guys. I mean, there's still some guys in the late first round you could probably get that will be an instant impact at the interior line.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking late first guys to be the best impact, it's like an Eichenberg.
Yeah,
If you want to count Jenkins as late, I consider him early mid at this
mid.
point.
Yeah,
But we're talking Eichenberg, Trey Smith. I like him coming
yeah,
out if he is healthy. That's the
yeah,
question mark. But you're getting a guy who could be a great impact. And then Creed Humphrey and Dickerson for a day one and day
yeah.
two. Those are my late first. You need a guy to actually play on your line. That's
Yep.
really who I'm going.
Yep. To summarize, if you're picking O line anywhere in the first two rounds, quite frankly, you quite literally cannot go wrong.
Yeah, these guys look all solid. There's definitely bust
Yep.
potential to varying
Yep.
degrees, but like I think I said it in a chat, but like if 12 of these guys were starters in 4 years, I wouldn't be surprised at tackle. Like, and
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
that's crazy. What a crazy offensive lineman class. I'm just just stunned.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, I think that about covers it.
Yep. We'll be moving on to linebackers and D line in a little bit, but that concludes part one of our draft breakdown positionally. So our O line, there you go, guys. Thank you, Steele, for coming on this early morning.
Yep, no problem. I'll be on tonight too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Craig Bot, for finally working.
Thank you as well, Craig Bot. All right.